Hi everyone, it's Marcy. It's Sunday, Father's Day, June 21st, first day of summer. It's a big day, evidently. Hope you're all happy and healthy, and I hope all your fathers are having happy Father's Days. If you're a father yourself, I hope you're having a happy Father's Day. And we have the start of a summer, which is hopefully a healthy and joyous summer for all of us. We've had a pretty tough 3 or 4 months here. March, April, May, June. Yeah, it's been a long time that we've all been socially distancing, and now the country is opening up bit by bit, and hopefully the numbers nice and low, and we stay healthy, and I hope that is the case for everyone. We're here because it's Book Talk Sunday, and I would like to talk about one of my favorites. Elizabeth GIlbert wrote a book called Big Magic a bunch of years ago. That I have listened to at least 2 or 3 times a year since I found it. I did it as an audiobook initially, so I had Elizabeth GIlbert's calming voice reading to me or speaking to me. Most of the time before the pandemic, I would listen to audiobooks while driving, and so it always felt like I had Liz Gilbert sitting in the passenger seat next to me in the car, giving me her pearls of wisdom. With Big Magic. What she talks about in this book really is a personification or an anthropomorphication, tripping over my own tongue, of creativity. And that creativity is a thing that we all are born with, that kids naturally are creative, whether they're drawing or they're building Legos or whatever it is kids do, making pretend games, whatever kids do. Kids are creators. Kids use their imagination to help them make sense of the world. And somewhere along the way, adults, in our way of adulting, we kind of lose a little bit of our creativity. We lose a little bit more access to it, primarily because I think, and I think Elizabeth GIlbert thinks, that the reason that we lose some of our creativity is because of fear. Because kids aren't afraid of what other people are going to think. They're going to make a game, they're going to make a drawing, they're going to make whatever the thing is that they make, and that's it. They've drawn this thing. They've done this thing, they've created this thing, and they move on, and they're happy, they love it for a moment, and they move on. And as adults, we kind of lose that. We are self-critical. We judge ourselves before anyone else gets the chance to. And we're afraid. We're afraid of what other people will think. We're afraid we're not going to live up to expectations. We're afraid that everything has been said and done before. And why would anybody be interested in what we're doing? We're not that special. We don't have a unique story. Everyone has pain and suffering and craziness in their life. And, what makes anyone want to listen to me? And I did all of that inside. All of that mean girl talk inside my own head for a long time. And then in 2013, decided that I wanted to paint again. I hadn't painted in years. And although I was kind of afraid because I didn't know if I would like anything that I was creating, it didn't even dawn on me to not do it, So I set up a little art studio, which is where we are now. And I started painting, and I was really nervous at first. Is it not going to come out right? What if I don't have the skill anymore or ever did? What if it sucks? What if no one likes it? Whatever. And I just kept doing it because I really wanted to do it. And what I learned along the way was that it didn't really matter if anyone else liked it because I was having a good time. And if I didn't like the way a painting came out, or was coming out, I had choices. It wasn't the end of the world. The earth wasn't going to open up and swallow me whole. No meteors were going to land in the earth and bury me in a crater or something. Nothing was going to happen. There was no fanfare. There was no funeral dirge. There was nothing. It was just a painting. And if I didn't like it, I could paint over that section and start again, or whitewash the whole thing and start again, or throw the canvas out or the paper out and start again. And there was no repercussion. It was fine. So what I learned was that life can always be a do-over. It's not just a painting. You don't like your job, you don't like your car, you don't like your friends, you don't like where you live, you don't like your house, you don't like the way that you think that you're more critical of yourself, you think you're too judgmental of yourself or others, you don't forgive fast enough, you don't call your relatives more often, you're X, Y, and Z differently than you would like to be. It's all within your power to change. So the creativity doesn't necessarily have to be writing a book or making a poem or a painting or a picture or something. It could be the way you're creatively creating your life. You know, what imagination can you allow yourself to experience? You know, it's without the self-limiting beliefs. Because fear is always going to be there. Fear likes you to be limited and stay in your house and don't do anything. But if you weren't afraid that you wouldn't make a good product, whatever that is, that thing that you're creating, then maybe you wouldn't try as hard. So we do it for ourselves. We don't necessarily do it for others. If others like it, if others want it, if they buy it, if they approve of it, all the better, but it isn't necessary. We create because we need to. We create because we want to. And we can't have too much attachment to it as well. You know, she says, don't put too much pressure on creativity itself. You know, like you can't ask your creativity to solve all your problems. I am going to write this book, and I'm going to write this book, or I'm going to write this book, and I'm going to sell bazillion copies, and everyone's going to love it, and I'm going to be able to buy a house in Tahiti and keep my feet up and drink Mai Tais all day. That's too much pressure. That's too much pressure. No one's ever going to live up to that. No particular creative endeavor is ever going to have the power to live up to that. So don't put so much pressure on it. You can't ask anything of your creativity other than to exist, other than to keep talking to you and exist. So I wrote this book because Elizabeth GIlbert said I could. And I believe her. She's smart. I learned not to be afraid of it. It's my story. And therefore, in and of itself, it's a powerful thing to say. It's a powerful thing to share. That I like reading other people's stories. I like memoirs in general. So I might not have anything in common with them, but yet I love them. You know, I read this book and I loved it. I read Michelle Obama's Becoming, and I'm not from Chicago. I've never been from Chicago to Chicago. And I didn't share very many experiences with her, and yet I loved her book, and yet I learned perseverance, and I learned the value of education, and the value of steering my own ship from reading Michelle Obama's book. I learned resilience from Tara Westover in her book Educated, and from The Glass Castle from Jeanette Walls. All books, all memoirs that I loved. I learned resilience from Demi Moore, and how to forgive. I mean, she had a horribly dysfunctional relationship with her mother growing up, and yet before her mother died was able to forgive her and move on and learn from that to be a better mom to her own kids. We learn by example. Everybody's story is worthy, and I didn't really know that. Not in my heart, not in a way that I could intuitively apply to myself. I could apply it to my students, no problem. External's easier than internal, at least for me. She also talks about the power of finishing a project. Better done than perfect is kind of my motto. Not that I don't try hard, not that I don't want it to be as good as it can be, but perfectionism keeps you from finishing things. And if I kept perfecting and editing and editing and editing and editing my book, it would never have been done. Sure, there are probably things that I would do differently, and this hasn't even officially been released to the universe yet. Paperback was released earlier, but July 1st we get the audiobook, the ebook rather, and the hardcover audiobook will come later in July when it's finished. But there are already things in here that I would do slightly differently or eliminate, and it's a done deal. It's out. It's good, and I'm happy with how it came out. But perfectionism's not going to get us anywhere. You're never going to finish. It's taunting, you know. Anyway, so I could go on and on and on about this book. I can't say enough good things about how inspirational Big Magic is. Creative living beyond fear. And that's it. You know, you have to just bulldoze your way through. The only way, here, tattoo, the only way out is through. You can't go around, you can't go under it, you can't sidestep it, can't skip it. You have something you have to do, create, build, grieve, figure out, use your imagination and creativity, and you'll get yourself there. Anyway, pick up the book. I think you won't regret it. In fact, I know you won't. And that's it. Thank you very much for your time. We have 10 days or so until July 1st, until the VIP launch, until the big official launch party on Zoom for Permission to Land. I've got lots of presents and prizes. They're not within arm's reach. I thought they were. That I'm raffling off to all of you who have been helping me build up the social media audiences and community to love and support and share this book of mine, this creation of mine. We'll have a couple of guest speakers. We'll have a little champagne toast, so bring a beverage and a snack of choice. And it'll be great. It'll be a really fun, exciting, hopefully exciting hour, and I hope to have so many people there from all over the world, and friends from Australia and Romania and other parts of the country, and it'll be great. Anyway, I hope to see you all soon, and I hope you're all safe and healthy and happy, and thank you for listening, and I love you very much.